The birds are singing. It's not raining. I've got some new spider-free gardening gloves, and I've finally managed to get myself here to the allotment. So let's do a April plot tour. So it's been a while. Sorry about that. I've had a cough that just seems to have lasted forever. It's been 6 weeks now. I've still got it, but it's getting a lot better. The kids seem to have got it as well. I'm hoping theirs doesn't last as long. So we've got a lot of sleepless nights, unhappy children. They are at school, and they were well enough to go to school, but they're, still not very happy. And we've had the Easter holidays as well, which, if you're not from the UK, at Easter, generally schools have 2 weeks off. So, yeah, the kids have been at home with me for 2 weeks. But this week, I have started catching up on my seed sowing. I hadn't even sowed my tomatoes until this week. I've bought a few plants from garden centres, but not sown any. So they're done now. I've sown my cucumbers as well. And today, this evening, I'm probably going to sow my brassicas, because I probably should have done those already as well, as we're going to be growing them on to avoid the club root. But we'll talk about that in a later video, because I'm going to do a video all about that. I'm looking at the brassica cage now, and it is full of weeds. The brassica cage I supposedly weeded. It's just full of creeping buttercup and dandelions. So obviously they haven't sown themselves in the time it's taken since I did that. So I just missed a lot of root. So I'm going to get my coffee out, and I'm going to show you what I bought from the garden centre, because, yeah, in an effort to catch up, I've bought a few bits. Let's have a look. So we've got a few bits here. Obviously, haven't been for a while, so the wild garlic is still here. The beetroot that I got before is just not good now. It dried out, not good. The fruit that we've got hasn't been planted out yet, but it's still alive. So I need to get those done. I might even take those home to pot them up and then bring them back. I don't know. It's probably easier bringing a bag of compost in, isn't it? So we've got some beetroot. These are little beetroot plugs. This is mixed. So I'm just going to plant those out in the plugs as they are. I usually multi-sow beetroot anyway, so that's good. And I've got some onions, different kinds of onions. So these are red baron, bulb onions, red onions. And these are mammoth improved. There's only a few here. It's a bit of a token gesture, really, that, isn't it? But I've done that. And then these spring onions here that you can see, these are white Lisbon. These are a variety that I often sow myself anyway. So they're a good one. Again, they're multi-sown, and I'll leave them like that. That's absolutely fine for me. And then we've got some peas, and these are called Onwards, which I've never grown before. Now, I understand the whole thing about, root disturbance and things with peas, but honestly, I've always pricked them out, and I've never had any problems with them. So I'm just going to do what I always do. This one has been cleared and hasn't been grown in for 20 years. So there's a lot of weeds in here. There'll be a lot of nettle roots and dandelion roots and whatever else has been growing in there. It's also had a lot of rubbish in here. So from previous tenants to my dad, not my dad, people before him. So yeah. So I don't know what we're going to find in there, but it needs a good dig out, because this is going to be my squash bed. Thanks to Ali's suggestion. And yeah, so it needs a lot of work before it gets to that point. We were going to rebuild it this year, but I don't think we're going to get a chance now. So we're just going to have to see, and we'll see what we can do. And it's going to be added to one of the autumn jobs. Still lots of timber to get rid of. And here we've got the brassica cage. Now the door is on its last legs, so let me just try and get in without wrecking it. Oh, don't damage you either, do I, Mr. Ladybird? Or Mrs. Ladybird? Oh, gosh, yeah. Making some ladylike noises there. And I'm just going to stick my head in. So you can see. There's a lot of weed roots that I did not get when I weeded this. So this needs to be re-weeded. And I still want to make that path down the centre. And then we really need to lime it. So I need to speak to my dad, because I've never done that before, and I want to know how much I'm going to need. I do have a big bucket of the stuff in the greenhouse, so speak to my dad, find out what I need to do, and get it done. Okay, so this is the asparagus bed. I can't see any signs of asparagus, but I'm not sure if it's time yet for that to come up. But obviously, asparagus does not like competition from weeds, and there are a few weeds in here, and we've got bindweed coming up through there as well. So I need to sort that out. I will weed this today. Yeah. My garlic's looking okay. Garlic's looking fine. Don't got any scapes coming up yet from some of them. It's looking all right. First things first. So I think I'm going to start on the asparagus bed. I don't know if the asparagus will have survived. It's been very wet. It's its first year. I don't know. I mean, the garlic's doing all right. It's the advantage of the beds being slightly raised, I guess. So I'm going to work on the asparagus bed, get some weeding done. I might do some in the brassica cage, but I don't have wellies on. My wellies have fallen apart and they're in the bin. So I've just got some trainers on. And it is quite muddy in there, obviously. Soil. So yeah. But yes, the big changes that I mentioned in one of my last videos are not happening before this growing season because we just don't have the time. And things are fine as they are. And I do like things as they are. So we'll keep them as they are for now. We're going to redo the netting on the brassica cage. We're going to get the beds limed. We're going to... What else are we going to do? There's a little bit of paving we want to do in here underneath this bench. Is just soil. So my husband's going to sort that out. Continue fixing up the compost bins. And other than that, really, I think there's just putting the path in the brassica cage and sorting that out. The rest is going to just wait till the autumn, and then when we get to autumn, then the bigger jobs will probably get done. Some of them, maybe not all of them. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see how we go. You know, life's always busier than you expect it to be, isn't it? And you know, I'm going to have to get better at DIY though, because at the moment Mark's doing the majority of the big jobs, but I'm the one who has the time, you see. So it is time I sort of booked my ideas up and got grafting. Speaking of which, so I've just got up and had a quick dig. It's actually not that bad. So I'm going to get back up, dig the whole thing over, get all the roots out that I can see, and then I'm going to start on that second one. So I'm just weeding this border ready for the perennials that I'm going to bring from home. And there is so much bittercress in here that I was actually considering opening my own pick your own bittercress farm because it is edible. And you know what? If the name hairy bittercress doesn't whet your appetite, what will, eh? But unfortunately I've discovered that this bed also happens to be the local feline toilet. So yeah, there's an array of smells. Bittercress being the better one, honestly. So thank God for gardening gloves, eh? Let's reluctantly do the rest of it. I am going to leave that forget-me-not there, by the way. So it's mostly done. Left a foxglove growing out the wall there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it now. I'm going to come back tomorrow, hopefully, get the last few bits out if I've missed any. There's a lot of leaves there, but they're just leaves. There's a little bit more bittercress there. I'm going to look into how I'm going to train this along this wall, and I'm going to bring up some perennials. I'm going to leave this foxglove in place because it's... Oh no, it's not a foxglove, it's a forget-me-not. There's a bit of bittercress in the middle of it as well. So I'm going to leave this in place for now and plant around it because it is lovely. That's nice, isn't it? So yes, really do want to get on with ripping these paths up, to be honest, and getting some wood chip down here for now. This bed really is going to fall apart soon. There's nothing in it, so I am contemplating just removing it and growing in the open ground. You know, maybe taking this path out and just allowing the bed to extend for now, and then in the autumn when whatever grows in here is done, we can just, you know, you don't have to have raised beds, do I? I don't have to replace the sides. That was another good comment by Ali. Thanks, Ali. You know, raised beds are essential. They're not necessary. They're helpful sometimes. I like having them, but yeah, I think that's something we might have to do, because you can see all the creeping buttercup that is growing in the sides of everything, and it's really difficult to get out. I just can't get the roots of it out, so it just keeps coming back, and I'm not going to use any weed killer. So yeah, I think just this bed for now. That might be the best thing to do. Obviously I don't want to remove the garlic bed because garlic's growing in it. So yeah, so it's time for me to go home. I've run out of time. Excuse me, it's time for me to go home. I've run out of oh, that might be the culprit over there. Kitty cat. I have made this bed really alluring now, haven't I? I've cleaned your toilet out for you if you want to go again. What's your betting there's some surprises in there for me tomorrow? So I'm going to come back tomorrow with some plants, and I will see you then. Good morning, it's the following day and I'm back with my coffee. My dad met me here, so I've been here about an hour and haven't done anything yet because we were just chatting, but it was nice to do that. The perennial bed that we did yesterday, I brought some plants up for that, so I'm going to show you those in a second. And my microphone stopped working yesterday, so I didn't get as much footage as I thought I had. But I did dig over the big brick raised bed that's going to have the squash in, and got a lot of the roots out. There's a lot of the branches from the elder that was cut down that's fallen onto there, so get those out again. I'm going to give that a rake over. I was going to go for some well-rotted manure. Haven't been for that yet because I figured I can do that next week. I wanted to get more things done today. And one of the things that I want to get done today is getting some of the weeding done, if not all the weeding done, in the brassica cage. And then hopefully getting that limed. Probably Monday now because I haven't brought my scales and I need to know exactly how much to put in. So that's the plan for today. So yeah, so I'm going to have a bit more coffee. And then let's have a look at these perennial plants. So these are perennials that I've brought with us. They're not looking the prettiest right now, but they will look lovely eventually. So here on the side here, we've got Leucanthemum Crazy Daisy, which is a Shasta daisy. This, I'll insert a photograph because I used to have one of these in my garden at home. This is an absolutely gorgeous plant. It might not do much this year. It's a plug plant from last year. It might not do much this year, but it'll be absolutely covered eventually with big white daisy-like flowers. Then we've got Verbena bonariensis. This is one I bought last year. I don't think there's any labels on the pot, and I can't remember the variety. I have a feeling it might be Lollipop, which is smaller, shorter than your average bonariensis, but I do have some at home that are the Buenos Aires variety, which I think are the taller one. Then I got some lupins that my dad grew last year and gave me some leftovers. I've overwintered them. I potted them on and overwintered them, and yep, they're looking all right. And then I'll just move you to the side slightly. We've got a couple of hardy geraniums. Now, I bought a collection of hardy geraniums from Thompson and Morgan, and they were, I think it was Thompson and Morgan, and they were a mixed variety. They're not labelled up, so I don't know which is which, but it doesn't matter. So I've got about 10 of them. I actually ended up with about 13 because there were root fragments, and they've seemed to have taken. So far, so good. So I'm not sure exactly what they are, but yeah, they look absolutely fine. I've brought a couple of different ones because I've got 2 of each variety in theory. So I want to make sure I've got 1 of each variety at home at least. So I brought 2 for now. And if I get space elsewhere, I might bring a few more because I do love them. I also have 2 large hardy geraniums in the ground, which I mentioned earlier, which I need to split. I need to divide them because they've been in 6 years and they are huge. They are definitely overdue dividing. So that's what we've got to put in today. I do have, this is a thornless blackberry over here. I don't know where I'm going to put that yet. So yeah. Also, my dad's brought up some brassicas, so let's go have a look at those. So these are some brassicas he's grown. This one is cauliflower, and apparently this is a very new variety. It's so new that it doesn't actually have a proper name yet. It just has a few sort of letters and numbers, so I don't know what that one. And this is, these are Galvatron cabbage. So they're hardened off, fully grown, ready to go out. So we might have to see about that because I've nowhere to put them at the moment. So I think I will just leave them to continue hardening off a little bit extra and get this brassica cage dug over. I want to issue a formal apology to all the worms that are in here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I appreciate you so much, and yet I just chop you in half, and I just don't mean to. I'm sorry. So this bed's been dug over. Lots of very lovely worms in here, or there were, and there's lots of leaf litter left. But I'm going to leave this for now, and I'll come back on Monday, or as early in the week as I can, Monday hopefully, and lime these beds. Those brassicas are not going to go out just yet. I'm going to leave those a couple more days until the bed's been limed. And I've decided, instead of doing a wood chip and wood path, because I would need to get both of those things, oh, I can't get this door shut, I'm going to use these red flags here. I don't know what we're going to use all these flags in different places to replace, you know, where there's bits of broken ones and things, just to make it nice and level and smooth again, smoothish. But I think I might use these red ones temporarily, just as a path down the middle of the brassica cage. I know that paths provide shelter for things like slugs and snails, and they're not ideal, but I don't find walking through that particularly ideal either, and I just want to make sure I've got good access into there. So next up, I'm going to start on this again. I'm going to just give it a little bit of a, just going to sort of rake it out, make it a bit more level, get the last few bits of weeds, get the new gift from the cat out, and get it planted up. See here that my dad's put these sticks in the wall, bits of wood in the wall, so I'm going to attempt to tie this rose into these sticks for now. There's a few sticking out this lovely wall, so I'm going to tie those up first, and then I'm going to think about planting out. Right, that's done. It's not going to hit me in the eye now, which is what I'm looking for really. I am not an expert on pruning roses by any standards, although I do have quite a few at home. So that is just attached to that peg there, and it's going to grow a bit more horizontally, and as it grows I will guide it along the wall. So yeah, so that's done. So now let's think about where we want to put these. Probably going to put the lupins there in the middle. What really bugs me about this, given the way my brain works, is that the rose is not in the middle of this bed. That's the problem I have. I like symmetry, and I need to not like symmetry because it's nature. Nature's not always symmetrical, is it? So yeah. But yeah, so I do anticipate in the future we will make this bed continue all along the edge of the wall, and then we'll have the bed that runs down the boundary there, and this one will have fruit bushes, but I expect this one to be a flower border. And in future, when I get foxgloves growing up like this, when they are small, I will transplant them into the ornamental beds, because I do love having these here. I want to put my broad beans in here, and I'm not going to, obviously, because they've been here for so long. I really want to see them flower now, and they are, well, they were then, covered in little insects. We've got shield bugs and ladybirds and all sorts on here, so no, I don't want to take them out, and I do love foxgloves. So yeah, let's get planting then. Right then, let's start the April plot tour. So let's start with this bed. This is the one that Mark took all the rubbish off, and I have dug it over and I've sort of partially raked it. In the next week I'm going to come back with some well-rotted manure, and I'm going to put that on there, and then that will be planted up probably the end of May with some winter squash. I'm not going to go too close because the camera picks up on the netting. I've weeded the brassica bed, so that's all mostly done. Just need to sort the path out, which I will use these red stones, red flags as I say. That was full of water and I knocked it over and it stinks. So I'm going to put some clean water on there just to help it run away. Asparagus bed, no signs of asparagus. Yeah, if it doesn't survive, it doesn't survive. Now we've got garlic here, which is looking okay. Not the healthiest example of garlic I've ever seen, but not too bad either. And then this is the perennial bed I've just planted up. So I've got my Shasta daisy, my hardy geranium. The forget-me-not is a biennial, so it will not be there next year, but will likely set seed. Need something for there. I've decided not to plant the Verbena bonariensis because I think it's going to get in the way of the rose as it climbs across. I've put lupins around the base of the rose. Lupins are a good companion for roses, although this rose is pretty healthy and doesn't really need the lupins' help, to be honest. Now I've got another one of the hardy geraniums, which actually I need to sort that out. There's a little bit of root on display there. And then we've got the other Shasta daisy. This bed, I think we are going to dismantle it, pull up this path here with the weed membrane that's underneath. I've been meaning to do that anyway. Get all this stuff out of here and just take this down, get it fully weeded, and use this as a bed for something else. But I'm going to let these foxgloves flower before I do that. Obviously there's a lot of weeding still to do. I want to clear this pile here and put a pot there with something in it, or take a flag up and plant directly into the ground, possibly either. This bed is just needs weeding, same as those ones there, and I'd still want to get this path up here. Still want to clear all that and get some wood chipped down, but I spoke to my dad this morning. Like I said, he came with me this morning, and he said that the timbers that he used for these were used at the same time as these timbers, so they're likely going to be rotten on the inside. You can see some signs of wear, but these were tannalised timbers and they've been down a long time. My dad was an engineer and he made the brackets himself for the edges, so we'll be saving those certainly. But yeah, you can see it's bowing a bit, but that's no great concern. So once we've grown in these this year, we will likely change this whole area and probably make pallet collar beds, to be honest, because timber's so much more expensive than it used to be, and you know, don't you? You know. This path will stay here. This needs to be weeded because it's flags. Obviously, these don't have anything growing in them except weeds and some foxgloves at the moment, but we'll change that soon. This area is getting a bit weedy, but that's not a problem. I can come and get that done. Strawberries are looking okay in both beds. Still haven't planted anything in this one yet. I'm not sure what to plant in there yet, but we will. This one is looking alright with my herbs. I've got my lemon balm, as I showed you before, I think I showed you that before. And then this bed hasn't got anything in it yet, but I'm thinking of growing some annual flowers in that bed because it's the first bed you see as you come towards the plot. I think it'll just look nice to have some like zinnias and maybe cosmos in there, things like that, maybe some poppies. But yeah, next up we've got this bed here, which we dug the rhubarb out of and then put it back in because we realised it was alive. So there's a little bit of the old one there and then the new fragment we dug out there, so that's doing alright. Then we've just got weeds. I'm going to grow annuals along here as well, just flowers. And then this rhubarb is the one that we thought was dead. We pulled out half of this and that's obviously done fine. There's some growing in the compost bin. Excuse me. In here there's nothing at this side, and there's the cabbages that I've showed you many times there that I'm going to take out and sort this bed out. This bed will probably be good for carrots, parsnips. In the polytunnel we have got bolting lettuce. So my dad was going to take this with him actually because it's going to his chickens, but I'll probably be doing that. I've been talking to him about this hotbed that he used to use as well, and I am going to take this out, and I'm going to, because I think the space for growing will be more valuable than that will be as a hotbed. My dad said it never really got going, but I need to look more into that sort of thing really, and there's a lot of weeds and grass growing up through the back of it that needs to come out. So yeah, but there is a fair bit of space there that could be, you know, a couple extra cucumbers, a couple of aubergines. So, and the crops that I will grow in here will be sort of my most the ones that are more valuable to me, I guess. Things like tomatoes, cucumbers, aubergines, chilies, sweet peppers, things like that. So yeah, but yeah, look at them. This is vegetable spinach. So I'm going to get a few of these harvested today, take some of these lettuces home with me. They are a cut and come variety, but I'm going to just take a whole lettuce. I'm going to come back outside, and that, I think, is that. What I have done today, on my dad's suggestion, is I've just healed in these raspberry plants. It's very weedy on here and we need to sort things out, but they're just better off in there than they are just in the containers. So I'll probably do the same with the others as well. Yeah, there we go. There's your plot tour, guys. It feels quite good to, I feel like I've got quite a bit done today, so thank you as always for watching. Hopefully the content will be a little bit more regular now as we get into the growing season, and hopefully we'll all be in good health, and I'm hoping to bring at least one video a week throughout the growing season. So yes, thank you for watching. Please consider liking, and we would love to see you back here again, so please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell button if you want to be notified when we upload videos. Please say hi in the comments. I love to hear from you. I hope you have a great growing week, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.